Everyone, thank you so much for joining the Walk for Freedom last Saturday. It was amazing to have all of you there. The sad part, though, is we missed out on hearing from Representative Monroe Nichols. And that's why we have him today to talk about why he wanted to be a part of the walk and to share some of his heart behind being here and talking with you.
Sure.
Welcome.
Well, thank you so much.
Oh, and we just deemed this the Monroe and Meg show. So you might see more
we'll go
of
Megan Monroe.
Oh, Megan Monroe. Okay. Well, alphabetical?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, welcome, Monroe.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here.
I am so happy to be here. I hate that I missed Saturday. My 9-year-old was playing a football game, and as we all know, trying to juggle all those things is really tough. But I did want to be there. I was actually on my way. You guys finished a little early, but what a great event. What a great event,
yeah.
though. What a great event. What a great thing to advocate for.
It was, and having everyone there, man, it's only the beginning. So save the date for next year, October 20th, 2018. Monroe will definitely be there.
I will. I'll be like, Gavin, I don't care about your football game this year. No, I'm just kidding. I'll make him come with me. Bring his football team.
Well, most people know who you are, but I want you to talk about who are you? What do you do?
Sure.
How do you serve our great state?
Well, I am fortunate enough to serve House District 72 in the Oklahoma legislature. I'm a freshman member of the House, which is really exciting for me. Yeah. You were like the only person who will give the House a whoop whoop. But it's amazing to be able to serve folks, and it's just a huge honor for me. I'm actually not a native to Oklahoma. I'm from Central Texas originally, but my mom has been someone who's always been involved in the community and that kind of deal. So although native of a different state, like service has always been part of our family's DNA, and so it's just exciting for me to go and do that every day.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So you want to share with everyone kind of why you're passionate about this cause?
Yeah, absolutely. So, it's really interesting to me because there's a couple of different reasons why, and I think the first one that strikes me is that if you think about how long slavery has been a part of society, I think, civilization as we know is probably like 12,000 years old or something like that. I know humans were here before 12,000 years ago, before somebody posted that, but civilization as we know today is about 12,000 years old. And I think from the beginning of civilization, you can almost track slavery. And what that means to me today is that I was born in 1983. Had I been born in 1783 or something like that, I would have been a slave, right? So this cause today is super important for me because I'm just a few generations removed from being a slave myself. And so as a black man, as a father, there's not a more important thing to be advocating for than trying to liberate people from the same kind of slavery that my ancestors had to go through. And when you look at it, as you know, with 40 million people living in slavery right now, that would make slaves around the world, I think, the 36th largest country. It means more people than live in Canada or North Korea or Afghanistan, Australia. And so when you put it in that context, it's crazy. And so if you think about the 1860s and the Civil War and what we have to go to eradicate slavery in this country, for it still to be a part of, unfortunately, life in America as is life around the world, it's something that we have to work hard to get rid of, we have to eradicate.
Well, we are so grateful for you, and I just want you all to know that there are people in our state that are working very, very hard on the behalf of this cause and movement and moving it forward.
Yeah.
And I would just love for you to talk a little bit about that, of the how. How is this happening in our state with the movement from a state level, and then what is your vision for the future?
Yeah, so I saw today, and you can check my facts on everything, but you probably will have to fact check me on a lot. But did I see where Oklahoma was 4th in the nation in human trafficking or something like that? So it obviously is an issue that's not abstract to Oklahoma. It's something that we as a state have to wrap our hands around. And I think the thing that is obviously every aspect of slavery is incredibly terrible, but particularly the issues around sex crimes and children who are forced into slavery and all those kinds of things are things that we really, really, really have to find ways of dealing with. And the reason why I think the walk, for example, is super important is there's a lot of people that if you ask them about slavery in the world, they don't even think it exists anymore, right? much less people in Oklahoma thinking that we're like number 4 in the country for something like that. So, one of the things that I've been working on in the legislature is trying to address issues of sexual assault and those kinds of things. But as we know, and because of you all and what you have done, the issue is much bigger than that, much broader than that. And I think that Oklahoma, with its history of being, we talk about it being the Bible Belt and all those kinds of things, there are a lot of folks who I think have to come together and solve this problem. It's not just a legislative problem. It is a societal problem that is as old as civilization, as I was talking. And so, it should be incumbent on everybody watching here and everybody in this state and around the world to, like I said, to do what you guys are trying to do, eradicate slavery from the globe for the first time in civilized history.
Yeah, I talked about this at the walk, but there are so many people for over a decade who have been working on this and having those conversations. And just like a movement, it takes time, and we're having really good traction now. And it's unfortunate that we even have to do this, but it's beautiful. The hope and the unity that is coming from this. So I agree that it's not just a legislative problem. Like, this is a people problem. Yeah. And that was what was really great about Saturday, is so many people from different backgrounds came together.
Yeah. It's what's really, and this is something we have to think about even from an education standpoint. I know when I learned about American history and world history, you learn about slavery and all that kind of stuff, but you learn it in the context of its history, right? You don't learn about it in the current context. It's very uncomfortable for us to talk about or to think about, and so what I think about there is that there's probably people back in the 1960s who felt the same way about civil rights. It was, their lives, it didn't really impact them, so they weren't that involved at every movement before and after that. And I think if you were to take yourself and think about, well, would I have been an advocate for these things back in the 60s, or would I have been an advocate for these things any time in other human history? What you do today is the answer to that, right? So if you're wondering what you would have done, you're doing it today. If that's sitting on the couch and not really paying any attention, that's probably what you would have done then. If you're showing up and walking, that's probably what you did. If you're having these conversations with your friends and your family and your coworkers, which you should absolutely do, that's probably what you would have done. I mean, and so it's really important for us to think about these issues as things that are real and prevalent in society today, because they are, because they really are. And that's, you talked about the beauty of the walk on Saturday. I think that's the real beauty of it. And the other thing, is that you guys did it at Veterans Park, right? And Veterans Park, named for folks who were willing to lay their life down for the highest ideas of freedom in this country and around the world. And here we have these new generation of abolitionists who are marching at Veterans Park, who I think, just like those folks, are willing to shed their blood and die for freedom. Not too much different than those folks who were there. So I think it's very, very appropriate for you. It's like perfect. It's a perfect day. It's Veterans Park. You have all these folks who look different backgrounds, all come together to advocate on behalf of folks who they'll probably never meet, they don't really know. But if I could go back and think about my ancestors who were slaves and think about those folks who were abolitionists back in those days, they are the reason I'm a state representative. And so there could be, the child, or at this point, there could be a child in slavery right now who you all, through your advocacy and the advocacy going around the globe, will not only free, but it could be the next great leader in a community, or a next great leader of a nation, or a next great leader, of the world, or an author, all these kinds of things. And so it's you just don't know all the lives that you impact, and we don't know what we miss out on all these folks who have just been sold into a life of indentured servitude. It's really sad, but the great hope is that we can do something about it, because we absolutely can do something. This is something we can do. There's not a person in the world who thinks slavery is a good idea. I don't think, even the people who are probably forced people into slavery, I don't think they think it's a good idea. It's just that they get to hide, and so it's time to bring all that stuff to light and really, free people, so.
Well, this is amazing, because we didn't even talk about this beforehand, but this vision and just what you said was exactly why Veterans Park was chosen.
I didn't know that.
I know.
I didn't know that.
That's so, I just
But it was perfect, though.
It was, and I love everything that you said, because there's a lot of people that are like, so big numbers, this is like such a big issue, but even showing up at the walk.
Yeah.
Sharing and talking about this stuff. I thought about that the other day of how we are shaping history right now in this moment. And even by sharing this video, if you see something, say something. I wouldn't get involved. It's very dangerous. But there's a national human trafficking hotline that I will post below. I save the date for next year, October 20th, 2018, to come out and walk, and that's what we wanted to make sure that people knew at that walk. Showing up is doing something.
Absolutely, it is.
Being silent is doing something.
Absolutely.
But showing up, being a voice for those who are silenced, and you never know the impact that you're making.
Yeah.
So I just want to thank you so much for sharing your
Thank
heart.
You.
We love Monroe, and every single representative in our state. We just thank you so much for serving and for being a voice and for just keeping going, no matter what, having the positivity and the hope, because there is so much hope. And that's what that's how we have to frame the conversation. We could all go down the negative route, but we have to stay in that place of hope if we're going to change anything.
That's absolutely true. I mean, we have to turn that hope into action, and when we do that, I mean, you will change the world, and that's absolutely. I absolutely believe that.
Yes, agreed. Well, thank you for being with us today. You're going to see some more videos like this coming out, and we look forward to connecting with you. Connect with Monroe Nichols and all of your representatives too. Thank them, love them, because they are doing super hard work for our state. And even though you might hear negative things on the news, like positive and hopeful things are happening.
There are some positive and hopeful things happening, but you should always hold all of us accountable.
Yes, and we will.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.